the fourth time in series history at Darlington, we are racing. Green flag. Single file most of the way through. Matt Schlosser is the first one getting past here by Oz Ganar and Jan Van Leer.
Ryan Dye got into the wall out of turn 2. Looked like he got into Garrett Rainey, but both of them able to settle it between themselves, but it was awfully close.
Brody Gunter on quite the opening lap here. 6th to 3rd for him. JKay leads the first circuit. They've also got slower drivers in front of them as well.
Okay.
Oh, that Kay nudging into the wall. Poliski underneath of Gunter. But then we'll roll out of it.
Wall again.
I think Gunter got up there as well. Awfully close.
Oh, and here comes a dive from Gunter. The door is shut by Kay. He's got lap traffic up above him.
Oh, and the caution is out. We've got problems. For the first time tonight, Eric Breeding is stopped. And he is around. It looked like Paul Sargent was limping away from the scene of the accident as well. You're one of the drivers that's a lap down. You're either going to pit next time around and get fresh tires and stay a lap down, or you're not going to pit. You're going to stay on the older tires, and you're going to get yourself back onto the lead lap. A lot to think about here. This is the best look that Brody Gunter has had thus far of taking the race lead from JKay heads up. He starts to his inside. Kay with control. The restart. We're back to green. Here's Andy Poliski to the outside. Gunter up the track. There's contact.
Oh, no! Both
and there they go.
Into the wall. See the rear end of the 01 kick out just a little bit down there on the bottom and starts sliding up the racetrack. Starts leaning on Poliski and just continues to go up. They kind of get hooked together a little bit there as well.
JKay, not sure how much he's saving. He looks to be a bit stiff here. Oh. Whereas Paloota could put that truck just about anywhere he wants. Kay going to go down swinging either way. Six and a half laps of defense. Oh, the caution is out. Horrendous top 10 run at least.
Oh, yeah. Looking at the replay here, Ellison, a little bit of a hiccup. Out of turn number 2.
Nathan Paloota, P6, fresh tires. JKay, the dominant driver here today. Potentially the run to the checkers here to try and secure his second career win at Darlington. Paloota tried to jump the start. He's got some room to navigate now, but did not get a great restart. Great start up front for Kay. Here's Paloota.
Slide in as well. Yeah, there's Paloota. He's nearly problems behind.
Mark Dillon Jr. is around. And the caution is back out. JKay and Kyle Zittel on old tires. The pack is right behind him. 2 to go. A good restart here for Kay. Poliski keeps Paloota boxed in. Reynolds underneath Paloota now. Paloota locked in behind Kyle Zittel. Some separation.
Paloota's going to really get boxed in. A big shove there to Zittel, but Poliski's right underneath. Nowhere
3 wide.
Oh, Paloota puts himself in the wall.
Oh, man. JKay just wanted to get back to the line to put this one in the books. We're there. 1 to go. Zittel now playing defense against Andy Poliski. Poliski up the track, pinching Nathan Reynolds. McKinnon looking for somewhere to go. But JKay setting sail up front. There is Poliski making a save all the way down to the inside wall. JKay about to be pushing up daisies, but now he has survived here at Darlington, and JKay will take the Asset Technology Group 164 for his second win at Darlington, his first of the season. And JKay, long-awaited burnouts here. Career victory number 7, first of the season. And JKay is on a roll here in the back half of the stretch.
Yeah, after being on a roll pretty much the entire season in Season 6, JKay back to the winner's circle.
Take in a big breath of the country air. We are out in absolutely the middle of nowhere. It is the land of Casey's General Stores for as far as the eye can see. The 11th round of the 7th season of the Venom Truck Series is right here at Iowa Speedway for the 3rd time in series history, the 1st time since Season 5. And Iowa Speedway, one of the favorites here on Turn 200. We're always happy to be back here at home in the Midwest. It's Tommy Cook. Alongside momentarily will be Matt Williamson. Well, after last week's pretty darn good race at Darlington, the points have not really changed all that much, aside from JKay leaping up 6 positions now, nearly into the top 5 of the standings. Up front, things continue to widen, and things look to be well in the control of Nathan Reynolds, who nearly won here last time we were here in Season 5. Positions 1 through 5 completely unchanged, other than the margins last time out. Speaking of last time, Season's 5 race at Iowa was right here on Turn 200 in our first season with the Venom Truck Series. Nathan Reynolds pretty well dominated what was nearly a caution-free race, but a caution late in the going brought the entire field down pit road. Nathan Reynolds famously was caught speeding on pit road while he was texting and driving. This gave control the final 2 restarts to Chad Stearns, and he was able to drive away and secure yet another victory in Season 5. Nathan Reynolds on a tear right now with a hefty points lead, looking to make a statement in his final season of Venom Truck Series competition, en route to possibly a 4th and final series championship. In his long list of accomplishments with the Venom Truck Series, a win at Iowa Speedway has yet to materialize, but that could very well change here tonight. This is one of the tracks that seems to be right in his wheelhouse. Will we see Nathan Reynolds win for the 3rd time this season? Will we see Nathan Palawota win for the 3rd time this season? Will we see JKay get 2 in a row? Will we see Chad Stearns go back-to-back in separate races at Iowa? It's nearly time to find out here in the Take the Under 157.5 presented by JKay Gaming here for the Venom Truck Series at Iowa Speedway. It's Around the Turn on Turn 200.
A blind knight that uses echolocation, viewing the dark, treacherous world through sound. Trapped in a dungeon, endangered by combatants, where hazards lurk around every corner. Make sound to have vision, or don't and be stealthy. Avoid impaling threats throughout the dungeon to escape. Engage with other prisoners.
Night I've been here without. Could you find the key and unlock my cell?
Free them to fight back with more allies.
Let's take this guy.
The Dungeon Labyrinth has many paths and even more traps. Struggle through the darkness to find your freedom.
An empty plastic bottle would give you 50 cents. A soda can, 60 cents. A used food container, 80. Wondering why I know this? Because that's my job. I am a trash picker at my school.
Harry, the trash prince is on a roll today. And how is your trashy affair with Bella coming? She lets you kiss her with that stink?
Their words don't bother me. They don't know why I do what I do. And my secret. I edge close to my class when I hear Bella and her friend talking.
You can't be serious, Bella. You want me to break up with him for you?
I would do it myself if his poverty didn't give me the creeps.
You are unbelievable.
I come face to face with Bella's friend. She knew I heard the conversation and couldn't meet my eyes. She hands me the new phone I bought for Bella and walks away. I saved for months to buy her this phone. I walk down the empty corridor with a heavy heart, pick the phone out of the box, slip my SIM in, and switch it on. When... Harry Parker, you have passed the poverty test? You are now the heir to Parker family's billions worth of assets?
If Harry is a billionaire, why does he work as a trash picker? What is his big secret? Why did he not reveal his billionaire status to Bella? To know more, listen to the audio series Destiny Reloaded, only on Pocket FM.
And now, our feature presentation. Welcome back to live coverage of the Venom Truck Series here on Turn 200. Tommy Cook and Matt Williamson out field reporting in the Cornfield amongst our people here in the Midwest. Matt, welcome back to Iowa Speedway. Always a treat to have the track here on the channel.
Yeah, we've had some great races here, including a great race from the Venom Truck Series. I believe that was 2 seasons ago, in Season 5. And looking forward to another one here. We've, after talking to some of the drivers, seems like we might have some strategies that could very much differ from one another and end up producing some good stuff, but we got to have green flag laps to be able to get to those.
Two things I want to clear up that I said in the intro, both pertaining to the same driver. I said that Nathan Reynolds dominated the Season 5 race here, and that just simply was not true. I completely forgot that Reynolds was in second for 90% of the race until he made a pass on Chad Stearns, who led far and away the most laps that evening. Made the pass, was in the lead for about 3 or 4 laps, and then the first caution of the night came out. And I also said maybe Chad Stearns would go back-to-back with victories here tonight. Chad Stearns is not here, so that will not happen. But Nathan Reynolds, again, fast. Mentioned Brody Gunter and JKay in the intro. They have both had some pretty decent speed here tonight as well. New wrap on the JKay livery, or on the JKay truck rather, for last week's winner at Darlington. So, a new looking truck might be pretty fast. Who knows?
Well, he's throwing it back to the GOAT, or one of the GOATs. So. He's looking for a little bit of luck from above, I think, here today. But you mentioned quite a few drivers that are pretty fast, and you mentioned Nathan Reynolds that got the lead before a caution 2 seasons ago. Remind the folks what happened to Nathan Reynolds that kind of set him back after that caution came out.
Yeah, well, Nathan Reynolds leading the field down pit road under caution was texting and picked up a speeding penalty. So kids, don't text and drive, even on the sim. It's still not safe. It cost Reynolds a win, so don't do it. Yes, Reynolds would very much like to forget about that. We don't let him forget about it because it's very funny. So that's how that goes. Nathan Reynolds, though, this sentence, not a surprise. It's been a week since he's been on the pole. He is back on the pole tonight. It's his 8th of the season. 8 poles this season, 29 in his career. And he is looking to finish what he started here back in February of last year in Season 5 and take that first victory here at Iowa Speedway. I want to thank everybody that is hanging out with us here. Got some updates about some stuff coming up in the near future. A lot of things have snowballed today. Good things, might I add. So we may have some news by the end of this stream. Definitely we'll have some news about where you might catch us somewhere else this week. But clocks are at 0. It is time to go racing for the 3rd time in series history at Iowa Speedway for the Venom Truck Series. Aforementioned Nathan Reynolds with pole number 8 on the season. Matt Schlosser finished 13th last week, but got disqualified. So it is a redemption tour time for Matt Schlosser, who's just hanging on barely into the top 10 in points. Nathan Palawota, also on a revenge tour from Darlington last week. He will line up in third. So is Steve Roman, who lagged out of the session after a breaker got tripped at his house. He is on the outside of row number 2. Andy Poliski and Luke Peterson on row number 3. It's Garrett Rainey and Brody Gunter on row 4. Jan Van Leer and Jeremy McKinnon round out your top 10 starters. Oz Kanar in 11th. Brantley Gainey in 12th. John Kay then in 13th. Paul Ellison has had historically bad luck here at Iowa. He wants to turn that ship around here tonight, starting in 14th. Kyle Zittel, your runner-up finisher from last week, lines up in 15th. Mark Dillon Jr., P16. Eric Breeding and Flaky Roberts is back. He's starting in 18th. Zach Lockett and Cole Maxwell, who has an average finish here of 6.5 in 2 starts. Cole Maxwell, really good here at Iowa, but has to do what he does best, starting back in P20. The rest of the starting lineup will scroll on down. 29 trucks getting ready to take to the short track here in Newton, Iowa. Matt Williamson, some track conditions and some things strategy-wise for these drivers and all of our fans to be watching out for tonight.
Yeah, well, if you look at the track temperature, obviously you can tell sun is going down, track temperature is low, going to be good for these drivers, especially if you want to try an altering strategy, try to stretch this thing out as long as possible. Got 180 laps here tonight. 80 to 85 laps is what we have on our fuel calc. A little birdie told me that they nearly stretched it to the halfway mark. We've had a couple of folks stretch it to 89 laps, and also have been told that the tire difference between 50 laps to that 90 lap mark, really not that much difference. So some drivers might be able to try that long-term strategy. We'll see how it plays out. 3 extra sets of tires. Tires are going to be big here at Iowa. No fast repairs.
Of course, we talked about the new baseline sets a few different times for a few different reasons this season. No thumbs up or thumbs down from me personally about the Iowa set here, but what I'll say is that the setup makes this track feel more bumpy. It feels very bumpy here at Iowa Speedway. Some drivers who had bumpy races last week are looking not to have a bumpy race here tonight. Nathan Reynolds and Matt Schlosser. We are underway at Iowa.
Lots of 2x2 throughout the field to start out here. That first big battles between Garrett Rainey and Andy Poliski.
3 wide. That's Jan Van Leer on the bottom, Peterson in the middle, and Gunter gets a 2-for-1 up top.
Ooh, and a little bit of contact there between Jan Van Leer and Peterson. Peterson had to move down a little bit to make sure he didn't make any contact with Gunter. Gunter's going to try to take it 3 wide again. Gets to the outside of Garrett Rainey on the move quickly here. Already up 4 positions, I believe.
Top line is a lot kinder in 3 and 4 than it is in 1 and 2. Very, very bumpy on the top side of 1 and 2. Doesn't seem to be phasing Brody Gunter, who is making up huge swaths right out of the gate here, just like he did last week at Darlington. Reynolds leading Schlosser, Palawota, Gunter, and Vroman. That's the top 5. There's Ryan Dye hanging out with us in the chat. Ryan Dye not racing here tonight. Well wishes to you. Hoping we'll get you back for Road America at full strength next week. Purple lap of the session for Matt Schlosser and then Jan Van Leer, but Schlosser closed it in on Reynolds here rather quickly.
Things getting stacked up here in the back of the field a little bit at around the 15th position. Ryan Dye mentions Garrett Rainey in the 13th, running a farm simulator truck. I've done my fair share of, logged my fair share of hours. Oh,
that's McKinnon.
Jeremy McKinnon, I don't know what happened there. It looked like the truck turned literally straight right up into the wall.
Well, he was running in 9th. He's now all the way back to 14th after that.
There's contact. Peterson and Oz Kanar, they're going to go to the infield.
Big problems for those two, and they are parked there on the pavement underneath the grass. We are still green. they're going to merge not too far ahead of traffic here.
And both of them, you see the wall that blocks pit road, so they can't go down onto pit road. They hit that inside wall. Car made pretty significant contact with it. Peterson, not really, but obviously a big setback here.
Jan Van Leer and Steve Roman now side by side. This is for the final spot in the top 5. And battling side by side ahead of them, Gunter still on the move here.
Speaking of Garrett Rainey, let's go ahead and go on board with him as those battles you mentioned develop in front of him.
He's got a pretty good look at what is going on right here. Synchronized, getting into line. Oh, bumping all the way up, and it continues all the way up the chain. More problems behind.
Lots of drivers piling in.
Wow.
Here.
Safe hands award on that one goes to Austin Holyfield, who's going to break the chain and actually come to a complete stop. But bumper cars there. Rainey, Jan, Vroman, and Paluota all get bunched up and bunched together. And that is caution number 1 here on lap number 9.
And the onboard live shot with Rainey, you saw in front of him, Jan Van Leer had to get hard on the brakes, and the momentum just goes straight up through the line. No time to react for Rainey.
Brantley Gainey with a meatball flag. Out of that, I mean, he took a hard shot there.
Go ahead. We're going to back it up to the exit of 4 here. This is where we were on board with Garrett Rainey, but Steve Roman's going to get a big run on the outside of Jan Van Leer. In front of him, Gunter and Paluota also side by side, fighting for that position. Roman's got a big run. Paluota goes to cover up the spot. Roman has to let off the gas or maybe even get on the brakes. Jan Van Leer gets into the back of him, causes Roman to get into the back of Paluota. Rainey, not much time to react. He's going to get into the back of Jan Van Leer, and we are just playing bumper cars. And you mentioned Gainey there in the 22. That's the big shot into Vroman, and then the slide down on the bottom of the racetrack. Kyle Zittel and Mark Dillon Jr. pile into Steve Vroman as well. And Mark Dillon might be the end of his night. Really great looking Toy Story livery here. Haven't seen that one yet. Oh, it's a more of a Disney livery. It looks like maybe Mater's the top half and the Toy Story on the bottom. Not exactly sure, but great looking truck nonetheless. But his night might be over here.
Well, I can tell you, Gainey's the only one that got a meatball out of that, but that doesn't mean that Dillon isn't going to have maybe some terminal damage down the line here, depending on how the temperature-sensitive parts of the motor react to this accident. A few drivers down pit road that were not involved in that accident, but several more that were, of course. Brantley Gainey, Brody Gunter, Kyle Dimmick, Corey Rutherford, Steve Vroman, Luke Peterson and Oz Kinar, who are going to catch a lucky break out of that, not go a lap down. Of course, Mark Dillon Jr. and Kenneth Graves as well, all down pit road under this caution. Field is still under the control here of Nathan Reynolds. Matt Schlosser was yo-yoing a bit behind Reynolds, but was able to pretty well keep pace with him there for the first 9 laps under caution.
Yeah,
and Corey Rutherford coming back down pit road. Sorry, go ahead.
Didn't really get a great look at who's going to be able to, keep tires underneath them. That's going to be a big deal here around Iowa. I think we're going to end up getting some long green flag runs here, at least some pretty good medium-sized ones at some point here tonight. But you saw a bunch of drivers come together there, and that's part of the nature of this racetrack. Multiple lanes wide. We've seen 3 wide work for multiple people at this point. Obviously, Brody Gunter was up there really trying to make it work to his advantage. But when you do, different runs or different lines produce different runs, and sometimes they can put you in some precarious positions.
Caution counts this season have been all over the place. Caution counts here at Iowa have been all over the place as well. 8 in Season 4 and 2 in Season 5. Already at 1 here. Restart on lap 14. Schlosser and Rainey battling for second. Breeding and Poliski side by side. That is for, I believe, 8th.
Jeremy McKinnon's rebounded after getting up into the wall in the first run. He's pulled up alongside Kyle Zittel.
Zittel reported a little nose damage, but did not elect to come get it fixed under the caution. Look at this. Jeremy McKinnon scooting by on the top side. McKinnon up to third.
Kyle Strickler's out there smiling at this high side action somewhere.
The spiritual high side tickler, Jeremy McKinnon. There's got to be a way that rhymes. We'll figure it out.
I was trying to figure it out, and then I came up with that line instead.
I think McKinnon is a nickname short of being an absolute legend here on turn 200. We'll get him something. Meanwhile, speaking of legends, here's JKay trying to get underneath of Nathan Paluota. Paluota going to hang on to the spot on the top side. That is the battle for 6th. Now Kay going to move up top. This top side has gotten a little more use than maybe I was expecting early in the going here. Truck takes a few laps to get underneath you, and even when it does, it really doesn't feel ever that steady. But leave it to these drivers to leave it all out.
Yeah, we started seeing more of the drivers kind of migrate to the bottom here. All kind of getting in one line, settling in for maybe some single file racing until the tires start to go away on them again. Still a few trying the high side. JKay, one of them, along with Eric Breeding behind him. Now JKay going to cross it over to the bottom underneath the 6.
This is the battle we were very close to getting to see last week at Darlington, right when these two were about to duke it out. The caution came out, and Paluota got boxed in. Big problems for Oz Canar. It looks like he is towed back to the pits. Maybe a bit more damage on that truck, making it difficult to want to continue here.
Well, Tommy, to your point, before we took the green flag, Matt Schlosser staying right here in step with Nathan Reynolds.
It was about a truck length. About a truck length and a half, but still Schlosser right here. Don't look now, Mr. Matt Schlosser. Here comes Jeremy McKinnon.
And McKinnon always known for short run speed at, literally anywhere we go.
Just about.
Starting to get jumbled up a little bit farther back here. This is Eric Breeding. Had gotten around Paluota. Paluota's trying to fight on the bottom, but now Michael Dean is up above him. And they bring along Andy Poliski.
Great to see Michael Dean back. He wasn't here last week at Darlington, but he did a lot of the work to bring in ATG. Good to have Dino back tonight. And back in the top 10 as well.
Want to point out a couple of the folks that came down pit road that I don't believe were involved in the incident, or at least one person. That's Luke Peterson. Luke Peterson, somebody that I know has done his research on the overcut. Don't take the under, take the over for Luke Peterson. And I think him going in for a pit stop on lap 10, he might be trying to set himself up for that overcut. So we'll need to keep an eye on that.
I think you're right. And Peterson, when he hasn't had the raw pace, he has been almost dead on with the strategy all season. So we'll keep our eyes on driver 89 as this one rolls along. Speaking of rolling along, Nathan Reynolds has opened that gap up to Matt Schlosser back to about half a second now. So Reynolds started to pull away a bit. Schlosser trying to keep his distance from Jeremy McKinnon, but Jeremy's not making it easy on him, that's for sure. Rainey and Zittel in the top 5, JKay 6, Braden, Poliski, Dean, and Paluota all still pretty close together here. Jan Van Leer not too far behind in 11th either, so still a lot to be sorted out early in the going here, lap number 28. About to be put in the books.
Hasn't left the top side, nearly got into the wall there, out of turn 4. Still trying to pick a couple off. He's got Kyle Zittel in front of him. He's worked the bottom, he's worked the top. He's kind of been searching around here.
Poliski with a pass on Eric Breeding. That is to take 7th. A lot of guys made it sound like a love-hate relationship drive at Iowa. JKay and Andy Poliski both in particular. Kind of fans, but kind of not.
Still out front, the owner of Car Inside, sponsoring the Car Inside cameras here on turn 200. It's Nathan Reynolds, looking pretty calm, cool, and collected in the cockpit right now.
As you would expect.
The difference is sometimes we see him talking to his teammates in the chat, kind of having a good laugh about something that happened on track, but it's all focus right now.
Fastest driver on track right now is Andy Poliski in 7th. Reynolds and JKay, 2nd and 3rd quickest.
Kay still trying to work the top side here. Behind Kyle Zittel, wants to get in that top 5 position.
And by the way, that purple lap that Jan Van Leer set early in this one is the Venom track record here at Iowa.
Wow.
JVL back in 11th right now. Breeding and Dino going at it. Michael Dean on the top side. Had 8th across the line, but now we'll take the position outright. And Breeding starting to slip backwards just a bit here.
Garrett Rainey had a look at this 3rd position just a lap or 2 ago. McKinnon able to fight off the advance. Now here comes JKay, dives to the bottom of the racetrack underneath the Kyle Zittel. Zittel went up top to protect. Poliski's on his way to them as well.
I was about to say, the Schlosser, McKinnon, and Rainey need to get it in gear because the usual suspects are on the march behind them.
Getting to the point we're going to figure out who's got some tire left to burn some rubber with and who's kind of skating on ice right now. And it seems like Andy Poliski certain has some more to burn.
Poliski, for the better part of the last 10 laps, has been the fastest driver on track, just does not have the track position. But a quick work there on JKay, and Poliski looking to get into top 5 here if he can catch up to the decent one, Kyle Zittel, in front. Still pretty cool that Kyle Zittel got that podium last week at Darlington. Said he wasn't expecting it, but he's following it up with another top 5 run right here. Jan van Leer trying to get back into the top 10. He has made a pass on Nathan Paluoda. Paluoda's starting to go the wrong direction. And you mentioned Luke Peterson. Oh, go ahead. Yep.
Poliski underneath of Zittel. Poliski really tried not to waste any time trying to make up this track position while he's faster than these other drivers on the long run.
I think whether he wants to or not, he's got such pace right now, I think he's just going to blow by everybody.
Well, on the top side, Zittel's able to stave that one off for right now.
And these two are catching Rainey and McKinnon, little by little. Just a kiss of the wall there by Kyle Zittel. Out of 2. And Poliski now will go to the top side, maybe looking for the crossover into 1. And here he goes. Just a little wiggle out of the front end there for Poliski, but still will have the positioning into 3. And Poliski clear.
Lots of great farming and Midwestern paint schemes here. Kyle Zittel looking across over Poliski. He's got the good old spotted cow truck. Rolling right there. He's going to slide in behind Poliski.
So what I was going to say a minute ago is you mentioned Luke Peterson came in under that caution. Brody Gunter also came in under that caution. He is the highest running of the drivers who pit. He is up to 11th now. Has just gotten past Nathan Paluoda and has Jan van Leer and Eric Breeding right in front of him.
And you know, something I forgot regarding Peterson, I mentioned earlier that Peterson was not involved in the incident that brought out the caution, but I forgot we had a smaller incident that did not bring out a caution between him and Oskanar. So,
and some damage to repair there, but
yeah,
you know, still might benefit from some strategy. Just didn't have fantastic track position to boot off of that.
Well, it's one of those things where you might be on the fence about, pitting right there, depending on what strategy you want to play, and it's something that kind of forced his hand for him. So it might end up working out, forcing him to make that decision.
Schlosser is backed up to McKinnon, who is backed up to Rainey, who is under fire now from Andy Poliski. Kyle Zittel just fended off a challenge from JKay, but that might not last much longer. Kay back on the attack again.
And you mentioned Brody Gunter. He continues to climb. Just got past Eric Breeding.
It's had an incident that did not trigger a caution, but Ethan Patterson is in pit road right now with a meatball flag.
Oh, JKay flirting with the wall up there.
It is Nathan Reynolds up front with a 3.7 second lead over Matt Schlosser. And the circus has rolled into Newton, Iowa behind Schlosser. All sorts of battling about to go down here for the final spot on the podium.
Randy's had some good looks over the last 20 laps or so on Jeremy McKinnon. He's inching closer again, but this time he has company that he has to worry about an Andy Poliski.
Oh, so close.
This is the point in the run. You get to the back quarter of these runs, and you're just fighting for every inch. Things are getting really busy around the top 5 right now.
A lot of departures and arrivals here in the top 5 train station. Lap 52 on the board.
Expecting pit stops around lap 60, 65, somewhere in there probably.
Or
you're going to stretch it all the way to lap 90. Or more if you came into pit already.
Decisions.
So now Poliski and JKay got around Rainey. Rainey fighting back underneath JKay, but now Poliski has the look on Jeremy McKinnon.
Oh, Michael Dean just had to put on the binders there real hot to not pile into the side of Kyle Zittel. So Dino on the move here. Poliski looking for a pass on his teammate and will get it. So move Poliski onto the podium.
And Michael Dean's had pretty smooth sailing since he got around to his position right now, but now has to deal with traffic. Totally different beast here when you have 5 trucks in front of you. They're all running multiple lanes.
Speaking of traffic, Nathan Reynolds right now with a 5-second lead, but lap traffic not too far ahead, so we'll see how that dictates the race for the leader.
And Schlosser has backed up to this group, Poliski, right on the heels of the 40 truck.
Oh, we just had a slide job. Garrett Rainey trying to defend on Michael Dean. Dino again hard on the brakes. Stickers McQueen in the chat saying good racing. Yes, indeed. This is fantastic stuff here at Iowa.
Schlosser is hoping for these pit stops as soon as they can come. He's used up a good portion of those tires underneath of him. He doesn't want to slide any farther. If he could come into the pit stops with the podium, in a podium position, I should say, that's going to serve him very well.
Well, at least tentatively, it looks like he still has pace over Jeremy McKinnon. Now, when McKinnon gives up the spot to JKay, Schlosser might be in a bit of trouble to hang on to a podium spot, but still looking okay to hang in the top 5, at least for now. And Ethan Patterson in the chat said the wheel died. Oh, no. That's no good.
Wow.
So many hardware issues lately.
Yeah.
It's been weird.
It's been very weird. Wow, look at this move from Dean. Michael Dean dives it underneath of Zittel. Thought he might be able to slide up in front. Not able to yet. But Michael Dean seems to be the tire-saving master here at Iowa.
Boy, if you're somebody like McKinnon or Schlosser here, it's just a helpless feeling as here comes Garrett Rainey, lap 59. So he will give up a spot inside the top 10. And Matt Schlosser hits that he is pitting this time. So Schlosser will pit from a podium spot. Crew Chief Matt Williamson nails it again.
And that would have allowed McKinnon to get back to another position forward there, but Michael Dean nearly took it away from him.
Jan Van Leer from just outside the top 10 has come down pit road as well. So some takers a little bit earlier than I was expecting, but again, you were right on the number.
Well, since we had a caution, I thought they might stretch it a couple more laps past 60, but seems like some of the drivers still committing to that number.
Oh, pit road exit violation for Garrett Rainey.
Oh, no.
Kyle Zittel coming in from the top 5. Ellison, Breeding, Lockett, Bergert, and Graves all have been down pit road. Rainey is back down pit road. Here comes JKay now with the decent one.
Lots of movement here. About half the field's been on the pit road now.
Notably, Nathan Reynolds has not. Reynolds still on track, and just as I say that, here comes Nathan Reynolds. So this should give this gives the lead now to Andy Poliski.
And Poliski stays out. McKinnon and Brody Gunter, Nathan Palawota, they're all going to stay out here.
Dino down pit road. Austin Holyfield down pit road as well.
Whoa!
Oh, trouble! Caution is out. Yeah, I believe it was Jan van Leer. And for as much drama and flair as there was between the Peterson and Canar spin that didn't bring out the caution, I mean, obviously nothing against Jan here, but that was pretty lame. It was just a self-spin. Not spectacular at all. You know, not that I want Jan to be out of the race or anything, but if you're going to crash, man, you got to go all out. That's an interesting place, much like our first caution at Darlington last week. Interesting place for this caution to come out. Half the field is going to be trapped a lap down, including some heavy hitters.
Yeah, certainly going to jumble up that running order quite a bit. Drivers going to have to stay out and starting either in the middle of the field or maybe even towards the back of the field. There's the incident from Jan van Leer, able to get it in the grass and corral it. But for those that did not come down pit road, here they come.
I mean, luckily, most people are going to be able to get the wave around to be back in the lead lap. Going to have a couple lap older tires. It's really just going to change some of the positioning here because Andy Poliski looking awfully good all of a sudden.
Well, I mean, you take Nathan Reynolds, literally just came down pit road, and all of a sudden, he's not up there towards the lead. He's going to be starting outside the top 10 here.
But again, the drivers that did not come down pit road are all in under this caution. Poliski, McKinnon, Gunter, Palawota, Flinky Roberts, Pascal Simard, Corey Rutherford, Peterson, Vroman, Maxwell, and Canar, all in under this caution. Brantley Gainey, who had a meatball flag earlier, also back down pit road. So is Kyle Dumig, it looks like.
But I mean, you take Luke Peterson, who started in third and then had that incident very early on within the first 5 laps. With his strategy that he was playing, all of a sudden he's starting inside the top 10 again here. Not going to be able to play the strategy that he intended to, but going to put himself in position with the rest of the field at least to have a decent shot.
Ryan Dye, I hate when Ryan Dye is not racing. Just feels emptier on track. But I will say, I always enjoy having Ryan Dye in chat because he knows what's up.
If I'm mistaken on this, does he have the most starts in Venom history?
No, Jan van Leer does, actually.
Oh.
Big Ryan's missed a few races here and there. Jan's only missed one, ever.
I would call that dedication. What do you think?
Yeah. I would say so. Ryan, obviously a 2-time series champ. Hoping he'll be back. hoping to see him for the Venom Truck Series debut at Road America next week.
Here's looking Nathan Reynolds. He's going to have to start farther back in the field. You see him behind the pace car right now. He's just waiting to take his lap back when we get the 1 to go signal and start. He'll be starting in 13th behind Kyle Dumig after that happens.
Brody Gunter is the race leader. There are quite a few trucks ahead of him. The last one being Kyle Zittel. That will bring us to 23 trucks on the lead lap here. We're going to extend the yellow, so 2 more laps till we'll get back going.
You mentioned Kyle Zittel. Right in front of Kyle Zittel's JKay, fighting for a top 5 position. They are going to be starting outside of the top 20 when we go back green. That is how much chaos the timing of this caution has created. And you saw a little wipe of the brow there on the car inside camera for JKay. He knows how important that was and how good of a run he was having. He looked really sporty. He was running all over the racetrack, top to bottom, and all of a sudden he's been put back here in the back of the field.
Gunter had good medium run speed. Poliski had great long run speed. McKinnon had nearly unrivaled short run speed. Palawoda had pretty good short run speed as well. And Corey Rutherford now is in the top 5. Flinky Roberts, Pascal Simard, Luke Peterson, Steve Roman, and Cole Maxwell, who cannot get out of the top 10 here at Iowa. That is your top 10 now. I mean, Reynolds back in 13th. And you mentioned JKay. Kyle Zittel, 21st, 22nd. Matt Schlosser, who was in a podium position when he came down to pit, he's in 16th. Just another weirdly timed caution that has turned this field on its head.
Well, for some drivers, they're going to have a lot of folks to get through. They know they have the pace. They just have to navigate the traffic now.
Good start for Gunter, who had a bit of a dust-up with Poliski last week at Darlington. Poliski looks like he is holding up Palawoda and McKinnon. Palawoda going to jump to the top. But Gunter showing the way. What a mess behind. That is Rutherford and Roberts side by side, looking for a top 5.
Yeah, keeping up. I mean, look at Roberts. He's taking a peek at Andy Poliski. Tried to take a peek underneath.
Flinky was picking his way up through the field slowly but surely under the long green flag run. Was in 13th when the pit cycle started. But now up here, all of a sudden in 5th. Purple lap last time around for Palawoda, who is up to 2nd. McKinnon has left his teammate Poliski behind and now has a run on Palawoda. Going to look for it on the bottom.
McKinnon will complete that. And for Nathan Palawoda, maybe not such a bad thing. You know McKinnon's going to push it pretty hard. Palawoda might be able to get on his tire saving mode a little bit, but maybe not quite yet. He's still trying to fight back.
I'd saddle him up and ride him to the front. I'm sure McKinnon is on his way up to Gunter right now.
Around the top 10, it is a cluster. Peterson, Maxwell into the wall a little bit in front of Steve Roman. Oz Canar's underneath here as well. And here comes Nathan Reynolds. Has not gained a position since the green flag dropped on the restart, but looking to shoot the middle. Pulls in front of Dumig, but it is a wall in front of him right now.
Vroman just on top of him hit the wall. Peterson and Maxwell still side by side for 8th.
Reynolds finally starting to find his rhythm. Took him a few laps, but has made up 3 positions now, looking for another one around Luke Peterson.
You mentioned drivers trying to find their rhythm. JKay is looking for a pass on Eric Breeding for 16th.
And unfortunately for Eric, he could not find his footing on that restart.
Schlosser working around a bit of lap traffic and rainy in Holyfield, but he is up to 15th, now is caught up to Steve Roman. And the lead, now just truck length between Gunter and McKinnon. We talked about the great short run speed there for McKinnon, a bit wobbly out of 2. Jeremy's been hauling the mail, trying to catch up to Brody Gunter. Palo Alto's lap times are about half a tenth off of the top 2 here. He's just outside of a second, with Flinky Roberts and Andy Poliski behind him.
Reynolds continues the march. If it can clear Maxwell, be up 5 positions from the restart. Pascal Samard not too far in front there. That would be to get to 7th. McKinnon continues to run the middle to the top of the racetrack, looking for those runs on the 01.
Poliski with a dive underneath of Flinky Roberts, trying to take the 4th position. Nothing going just yet.
And we missed the pass for the 4th position. Didn't see how Flinky got around Poliski.
Corey Rutherford hanging right behind these 2 as well, P6. Pascal Samard having to fend off Nathan Reynolds, but he's still in 7th here. So some drivers that got a lucky break by staying out when that caution came out. They are making the most of their opportunity here.
Yeah, I mean, we're getting close to 20 laps in this run, and they're still hanging on to these positions pretty well. So they're definitely making the most of the opportunity they were given.
Poliski clear on Roberts again. Flinky not done fighting. That'll move Andy back up to P4. About a half a second now between McKinnon and Gunter. Jeremy fading a bit as this run rolls along. Palo Alto a little bit faster than McKinnon right now, but some ground to overcome and a series champion to try and defend against.
Going back to the back half of the top 10 here. Nathan Reynolds has now caught Samard. He's going to look underneath. Maxwell, Peterson, and Kanar all still in line here. Vroman, after hitting the wall, has fallen back a few positions all the way back to 14th.
Samard has made limited appearances here this season, especially at the early part of the season. He had some really crappy luck to go with his limited schedule. So it's good to see Pascal in the top 10 here. And here goes the battle for 3rd, and it's over. Poliski up to P3.
Yeah, Poliski pulled up alongside down the front stretch.
Oh! Rutherford with contact on Roberts as they were battling away. Corey does a nice job hanging on to it. Doesn't lose too much time, but that had the inside wall written all over it.
This is one of those places it's easy to get comfortable with the line you're running, and then all of a sudden a mistake, like something that just never happens, comes out of nowhere, it seems like, and it can all go awry pretty quickly without much notice.
Broke Guy Racing teammates Jeremy McKinnon and Andy Poliski, second and third. Poliski is closing up quick. He is running slightly faster than Brody Gunter.
Oh, there's some contact. Rutherford, almost down into the grass, able to make the save, though. He's going to saddle it back up and went for a little bit of a slide, so the tires are going to be hurting a little bit here. But looking to regain that momentum. Really didn't lose much time there.
Pascal Simard has just lost the 8th position to Luke Peterson. So Peterson overcoming the early problems.
And for being really good in the back half of the run, Poliski has made a few passes here in the beginning half of the run to then set himself up to make a run at Gunter.
To note, some of the good drivers that were trapped out by that caution started in the back of the field. JKay has stopped his advance. He is still in 17th. Matt Schlosser has picked up a couple of spots. He's in 14th. Kyle Zittel back in 19th.
And we talked about JKay as well. JKay really hasn't gained any spots. He's sitting back there in 17th. So traffic playing a large role in them not being able to move forward. They were good when they started up there towards the front of the field, but have struggled to find their way around some traffic there starting in the back.
Oz Canars nabbed 10th from Cole Maxwell. Maxwell back to P11. Brody Gunter, even with Poliski in second now, Gunter continuing to pull away little by little over the Season 5 Series champion.
Palawoda now works underneath McKinnon for a couple of laps, slides up in front.
That is the injured truck of Mark Dillon Jr.
Dillon doing a good job just working that third lane, staying out of everybody's way as much as possible here. Here comes Nathan Reynolds. He has quickly caught Corey Rutherford.
It's the Triple R battle here. Roberts, Rutherford, and Reynolds.
Whoa! Reynolds might get held up a little bit here. Dillon's still running good laps up there on the top. Just a little bit hindered after the incident he had earlier. Racetrack seems to be a little bit one lane right now.
Certainly is not as dynamic as it was at the start of this race.
Well, we kind of saw this in the first run too. They would run 15, 20 laps, and then they'd kind of get to a spot where they're all running pretty similar. They'd fall in line, and then as the tires continue to fade, you start being able to make passes again there in the back 15 laps of the run. And underneath, here comes Reynolds.
Nathan walking it up the track a bit. Rutherford going to hang on.
Reynolds not able to complete that pass. Shows you just how difficult it is to run that bottom right now. And it's really the shallow entry that hurts you. Everybody kind of goes towards the bottom, but they start on the top of the racetrack and then work their way down. Reynolds, he's going to go for a crossover.
100 laps complete, 101 on the board. Lots of moving all of a sudden inside the top 10. Kanar with a pass on Samar to move up to 9th. Reynolds and Rutherford side by side for 6th. Michael Dean with a pass on Cole Maxwell, teammates there. Maxwell down to 12th, Dean up to 11th.
And, I mean, I don't know if you're going to get any better runs on somebody down a stretch here at Iowa than Reynolds had on Rutherford. Dove it down there on the bottom, had to take the shallow entry. Rutherford's able to stick right with him. A shallow entry on the tires right now just will not work. That's why you see everybody kind of running the similar line.
That middle and top side still have a little bit of life in them, apparently, at least enough to defend a position. And as these three are battling, McKinnon is backing up towards them. McKinnon back and forth. Flinky, Corey, and Nathan pulling up here in a hurry. Palo Alto not too far ahead of them. And the lead right now stands at about 1.5 seconds. Gunter and Poliski have swapped quicker laps between the two of them. But overall, Gunter still maintaining the lead. Oh, nearly a swipe across the bumper there from Reynolds up to Rutherford. And now Nathan going to look to the top side here. Rutherford going to slide up.
Woo,
and a bump.
Boy. Oh!
And I think that was I'll take what you give me and try and make the most of it move there for Corey. Unfortunately, it might get him trapped here on the bottom.
Runs it up the racetrack a little bit. And now dives it down in there. Nearly contact. Oh, there's contact with Roberts.
There's a bump. We are all over the joint here.
Roberts trying to hang on to that thing. Rutherford slides up into Reynolds. Wow, it's getting dicey.
Yes, indeed. How dicey is it getting?
It's getting pretty Ryan dicey.
There you go. I'm still sorry about that. I haven't forgotten. I never do. Here's Reynolds now with a run. Corey trying to give it everything he's got. Luke Peterson has pulled up on these three in a hurry. Rutherford now going to try and defend against Peterson, who will have to get on the brakes there.
I'll tell you what, Flinky Roberts, he's done a good job of recovering after a slide like that. A slide like that late in this run with the tires where they are can sometimes just destroy the run for you. But Flinky's making the most of it here.
Yeah, the rear tires on this truck are on the razor's edge. Probably helped a bit by the sunset. But it does not take much, to your point, before you are in Slide City. The gap continues to open up front. Gunter leading by 2 seconds over Poliski. Here's Nathan Reynolds on the outside, looking to take the 5th spot away. The dominator of the early portion of this race before the pit stops, having to work hard just to get back into the top 5. Peterson with a dive underneath of Rutherford. And they'll continue to battle here side by side.
And I know we've watched a lot of this group, but they've given us all the good stuff here for the last 20 laps.
Yes, they have. Don't look now. Oz Kanar is on the move back up. Remember, he and Peterson, inside of 10 laps into this race, crashed. It did not trigger a caution. But they find themselves not only back together once again, but inside the top 10 once again.
Yeah, great recovery for both of them, like you mentioned. For both of them to be right here together again after another 100+ laps is insane.
We've talked about a breakout season for Nathan Palawota here in Season 7, but Oz Kennard deserves his flowers as well. He's probably my vote for most improved driver of the season, at least for now.
And another driver that's a rookie who has done very well this season as well, that's Tyler Logan. He's not here tonight.
That's a good point about that. Only 2 finishes outside of the top 10 all season for Logan. But not here tonight. Matt Schlosser from 15th is going to hit pit road this time. This race definitely took a nose turn for the worse for him. Although, Rutherford right up there. It doesn't get much worse, though, than finishing 13th last week and ended up getting disqualified. So I guess it's an improvement there. Andy Poliski is going to pit from 2nd here.
So the pit stops have started a little bit early.
Reynolds and McKinnon got a bit hung up, and now Flanky Roberts is right back on the attack. Peterson or rather Kennard and Rutherford got a bit hung up with one another as well. JKay pitting this time.
Yeah, we're going to see who this drags down. I think a lot of the drivers inside the top 10 were hoping to go another 5 at least, maybe even another 10 laps.
Corey Rutherford on pit road. He looked like he was going awfully fast. But no black flag showing. Might have gotten away with it. Ellison down pit road as well.
See 4 distinct grooves on the racetrack between McKinnon, Reynolds, Blinky Roberts, and Luke Peterson here.
I'm usually just happy when we get to see Flinky Roberts nowadays. But it's even better that he's been up front here since the caution, duking it out.
And there comes Jeremy McKinnon on lap 120.
We mentioned Matt. Go ahead.
I was thinking between lap 120 and 125 is probably where most of the drivers were looking at. And but I mean, Poliski came in. Oh, and here come a bunch of drivers. That's Reynolds, Peterson, and Oskanar all at the same time. Poliski came in about 5 laps earlier than we were expecting, so he's really taking a swing at this thing.
Yep, going for it with Brody Gunter still out front. Mentioned Matt Schlosser was the first one to pit. He set the purple lap a couple of laps ago, so some speed to be unlocked out of this track here. Palawota and Gainey also in under, or rather this last time around.
Poliski's last lap, a 23.8. For Brody Gunter at 24.7. So the fall off almost a second here.
I think Flinky tried to get down to pit road and missed. We'll bypass it again this time, but that may have thrown a wrench in his plan. Michael Dean will pit this time. Strategies all across the board here. Whoa, Paul Sargent has gone for a spin. I think we're going to stay green. I think he corralled it in time. Flanky Roberts down pit road now.
Things are getting pretty wild here.
As if they weren't wild enough.
Now, I'm wondering, JKay up here may have taken 2 tires on the pit stop. Not sure. Either that or Reynolds had a really bad pit stop. But him and JKay right now are side by side on the leaderboard.
Yeah, something definitely happened to Reynolds.
I mean,
Because,
JKay
I mean,
they were
they were
earlier than Reynolds, but I mean, JKay was pretty
10
buried in
positions
the
behind
field.
him.
Yeah.
Here's the race leader down pit road as well. So Brody Gunter will give up the top spot. And that should hand over control to Pascal Samard. Good to see the 76 up front, even if it's only going to be for a few laps here.
We saw Gunter pull into his pit stall. Poliski coming around turn 4 right now. And will have a commanding lead over Brody Gunter after this is all said and done.
But remember, Brody Gunter, winner a couple weeks ago at Auto Club, unlocked that long-run speed made up for the later pit stop with fresher tires at the end. That's how he got it done at the big 2 mile. Can it work here at Iowa? We'll have to find out.
Well, it's going to be a 10-lap difference, which is a big difference here. And about another 10 or 15 laps for Poliski, we're really going to start seeing the difference between him and Brody.
Austin Holyfield with the purple lap, 23:39. Pascal Samard going to give up the top spot and come to pit road. So that leaves Vroman, Maxwell, and Zittel. And Zittel going to pit this time. So just Vroman and Maxwell yet to hit pit road here under this pit cycle. And like you said, Andy Poliski looking pretty good to cycle out to the lead. I'm showing about a 3-second lead over Brody Gunter right now.
But Brody Gunter just ran the purple lap of the race.
Yes, he did.
That lead is shrinking very fast.
We'll have to see how things play out here, but Brody Gunter, I think, looking pretty good.
It's a battling that'll be inside the top 10 after everybody cycles through. JKay, Matt Schlosser, Luke Peterson all together here. The truck behind them, that's the 49er Paul Sargent. He's a lap down.
Flinky Roberts did not fare very well under this pit cycle. He is, well, we mentioned he missed pit road the one time, so he's all the way back to 16th. Whereas Rutherford, McKinnon, and Reynolds all still going to be towards the top 5 here where he was. Brody Gunter, not for the lead yet, but he is catching Andy Poliski rather quickly. Almost a second gap between the top 2. Or what will be the top 2.
Nathan Reynolds gets around Jeremy McKinnon as well.
You mentioned a 10-lap difference in the tires from Poliski to Gunter. Poliski swinging for the fences. Gunter about to swing back.
Both had quite a bit of traffic to work through. Have gotten around Holyfield and Kenneth Graves. And now Gunter looks to the bottom on fresher tires. Should be an easy pass.
Not yet for the lead. As Vroman and Maxwell still out on track. Only the top 14 drivers on the lead lap right now. But a formality. Gunter will reassume the top spot if we could stay green.
Poliski tries to fight back. Took a big dive to the bottom. Gonna lose a couple truck lengths there with that move, though.
So behind Poliski, about 3 seconds behind is Nathan Palawota. And then Rutherford and Reynolds and McKinnon, all nose to tail pretty much. For what would be fourth.
And Reynolds goes to the top of the racetrack. Trying to get around Rutherford here. Rutherford's battled very hard for his positions after getting the start inside of the top 10.
Yeah, Corey started back in 23rd here tonight. So, I mean, yes, benefited greatly from that caution. But, I mean, him above anybody else has made the most of it here. He's done a phenomenal job tonight. So Reynolds now with a second and a half marching up towards Nathan Palawota. The Nathan and Nathan show will commence shortly. We are taking seats at this time. Gunter's still not in the lead, though. Steve Roman, we didn't get to see the long Steve Roman strat last week. We were denied. We will not be denied tonight. We are fully enjoying it here, taking it all in. And Cole Maxwell still hanging here in second. May have jinxed him a bit. Finishes a 5th and 8th in his 2 starts here at Iowa. It's statistically a track that has treated him very well. A track that he's run very well at. Been hanging around the top 10 most of the night here tonight as well. It's the way the strategy is going to shake out. It may not look as kindly on him in the finishing order here tonight when it's all said and done. With that said, Brody Gunter is closing up on him rather quickly, and that will be for the second position.
Oh, no!
Wow, Gunter saves it there. That was Garrett Rainey underneath. Holy cow.
I mean,
that was almost disaster.
That was a pretty gutsy move to just try to shoot the middle between those two for Gunter. That was...
Well, Gunter's not been shy with some gutsy moves here this season, but that one nearly backfired immediately. Able to hang on to it and get back up to second. So now 3 seconds ahead of him is Steve Roman, and that will be for the race lead, assuming Roman doesn't come to pit shortly.
Yeah, Vroman and Maxwell hoping a caution might come out in their favor. Does not look like it's going to happen for either of them.
That's a locked and loaded jinx if I've ever heard one.
Those two might only have about 10 laps left on fuel anyways.
Michael Dean and JKay battling for 10th. Mentioned Kay mixing things up a bit, pitting a bit earlier. And he's usually one to pit right on the number that we're looking at. But he pit a bit earlier than that this time around, just to try and get himself out of the situation he was in. So he is sliding down the running order here. And Dean going to try and bump him down one spot further. But Kay fighting back hard here on the outside.
Gunter is here. He's going to look underneath the 00. It'll be an easy pass to the lead for Brody Gunter.
So before we've cycled through, Gunter cycles back to P1. Looking for win number 3 on the season. Looking to try and reestablish himself here in the championship hunt. So Vroman and Maxwell still have yet to pit. Palawota has just gotten past Cole Maxwell. That will move Cole down to 5th.
Reynolds has closed in on Maxwell very quickly here as well. Gonna go to the top side. Past the number 3. Here comes Steve Roman down the pit.
Get Rainey will follow him in. Cole Maxwell staying out. At least for another lap.
And another one.
Another one. Ryan Dyed knows what I'm talking about. Boy, Jeremy McKinnon, Corey Rutherford had to dispatch of Cole Maxwell there, and McKinnon caught up in a hurry. That was a 7/10 of a second gap cut down to a truck length in pretty much the length of the backstretch. So McKinnon is here.
And Rutherford, he's fighting for a top 5 here. That would be a massive race for him if he can hang on to a top 5. Still a massive race, but to put a top 5 under your belt, it's even better.
Best finish of 8th this season for Corey. So still looking for that first top 5 on the season. Luke Peterson going to go past Cole Maxwell just behind these two. And Luke Peterson up to 7th.
Kenneth Graves trying to go underneath the Rutherford on fresh tires here. You know, it's amazing that we don't call him Corey more often.
What is that? Oh, Corey Graves? Yeah. Took me a second.
Yes, not Corey Rutherford, Corey Graves. Yes, sorry.
Yep. I concur.
I think it's only happened once.
Right now?
No, I think it happened once before.
I feel like in ASRL we had a guy named Corey Groves. And I said, oh, that's going to be a problem this season, and then we didn't see him again. I think we scared him off.
Maxwell still has not come down pit road. Jan Van Leer now goes through, and Oz Kanar.
So he has fallen outside of the top 10 now.
I can't believe he stretched it this far, to be honest.
It is pretty impressive.
But here he comes.
McKinnon looking for an out to in on Corey Rutherford here. Things have stagnated up front. Paluota inching towards Poliski. Woo.
Very close to some left rear contact there between McKinnon and Rutherford. McKinnon's produced really good runs, but much like we saw Reynolds trying to get past Rutherford before the pit cycle, McKinnon's struggling with actually being able to get in position to make a pass.
Steve Roman coming up here on much fresher tires. Trying to find a lane to work with there. It's a fine how do you do for your teammate.
McKinnon and Rutherford battling. Peterson and Michael Dean have both pulled up to him here. McKinnon going to take another look down on the bottom. Oh, Rutherford almost up into the outside wall. He's hanging it all out here to hang on to this top 5.
All of a sudden, this is a 4-way dance. These are all for position. Peterson and Dean on the scene.
Yeah, McKinnon does not want to get trapped on the bottom. We've seen the bottom struggle here in the late stages of the run at times. Oh, and we're going to see a little slip up right there as well.
Approaching rapidly, here is Palawota, who is looking to take second away from Andy Poliski.
Oh! There's contact between Michael Dean and Jeremy McKinnon. McKinnon's going to get the worst of it.
Peterson now. Oh, so close. Rutherford fighting hard.
Into the wall.
Into the wall.
And now here comes Palawota. You mentioned it. Fighting for second.
A dead heat into turn 3. Four-way battle still here. Contact between Dean and Peterson. We need a double box.
This is an all-out street fight here for a top 5. And now here comes Garrett Rainey on fresh tires. He's going to put himself in the mix. This is not for position, but certainly makes things more difficult than they already are.
Poliski will not let Palawota go. He's still side-by-side. They've been side-by-side for the last 3 laps. This time, I think Palawota is going to clear, and he is. Palawota to P2. And look at this, is an absolute mess. Closing in on 10 to go. Dean trying to set sail. Peterson, Rutherford, McKinnon. A couple of lap trucks with varying tire lives in the mix. JKay is pulling up onto the scene. Jan Van Leer as well. JVL in 10th right now.
And now 10 to go. Brody Gunter, a commanding lead out front, over 6.5 seconds in front of Nathan Palawota.
Andy Poliski right now has 1.7 seconds, making 1.6. Back to Nathan Reynolds. Reynolds is about 0.2 quicker. It's going to be awfully close whether they are battling for third by the end of this one or not. McKinnon trying to fend off Kay to stay in 8th. John gonna send it. Big send here for JKay. A slider and a crossover. These two almost battled for the lead last week at Darlington. Battling hard here for 8th. And now making a 3-way dance. JVL sticks his nose in on the bottom. Just a helpless feeling if you're Jeremy.
Yeah, what John did was a great move to get himself into the position that he wanted. He really wanted the top side, but McKinnon was protecting it. So John throws a huge slider just to get to the top side, and then uses that top side positioning to finally make that pass. Now gets to the top side on Corey Rutherford and should get this position as well.
5 laps to go up front. Brody Gunter lapping Matt Schlosser, who is in 14th. Schlosser and Lockett going to battle away here.
It has been one hell of a revolving door from 5th back to 10th. Pretty much all race. On both of the green flag runs we've had, that has been the case.
Yeah, they say the calm before the storm. Tonight has been a series of storms. Back to back to back. One storm makes the other storm look like the calm in comparison. It's been a wild night here at Iowa. Oh, Peterson trying to track down Dean, just had a kiss of the wall out of 4.
After all of this, McKinnon and Rutherford are back to their positions. They were in nearly making contact there about, 40 laps ago. It's just that this time it's for 9th rather than 5th.
Oh, Cole Maxwell in front of them is up in the wall. Might slow down Rutherford in this battle.
JKay gets into the wall as well. Jan Van Leer gets through to 7th. Oh, and I'm not sure what happened to Schlosser, but Ellison has gotten through.
Here we go. Brody Gunter up front. While all the chaos and carnage happening behind him, Brody Gunter separated himself from the field. And Brody Gunter is the first driver to 3 wins here this season in the Venom Truck Series. Gunter takes Iowa. Paluota and Poliski will round out the podium. Luke Peterson going to fall just a bit short of Michael Dean. Dino back in the top 5 here tonight after taking Darlington off last week. And that's the field across the line, and that is the 3rd win of the season for the breakout star, Brody Gunter, who will pick up a few points on Nathan Reynolds and is going to hot shot a lap around the Legends track here.
Home sweet home there for Brody Gunter, the Legend driver.
Gunter went on an early tear last week at Darlington, was battling for 3rd when he collided with Andy Poliski. Ended up still rallying to get a top 10. But an early tear here tonight, he weathers the caution and overcomes the strategy call by Andy Poliski to reclaim the lead. Set sail from there. And with his 3rd win of the season, Brody Gunter has a little bit of life in him down the stretch here, looking for a points championship in his 2nd season in the VTS. Nathan Paluota, good showing from him here tonight as well. He will finish in 2nd, Andy Poliski in 3rd. We'll talk to your podium finishers here momentarily. 4th place for the aforementioned points leader, Nathan Reynolds. Michael Dean back in the top 5 here tonight. Luke Peterson in 6th, Jan Van Leer in 7th. All things considered, the way it was looking, P8 for JKay, not too shabby. Jeremy McKinnon and Corey Rutherford may have had the most screen time here tonight. They were putting on a show. They finish in 9th and 10th. Oz Kanar in 11th. Flanky Roberts back tonight. He will finish in 12th. The decent one, Kyle Zittelback to 13th. Zach Lockett at 14th. Paul Ellis in 15th. Matt Schlosser, Pascal Samar, Tyler Bergert, and Steve Vroman, and Eric Breedy. The rest of the top 20. Austin Holyfield 21st, Paul Sargent 22nd, Cole Maxwell, Kyle Dimmick, and Garrett Rainey through 25th. Problems for Kenneth Graves. I think he's still going to finish in 26th, though. Brantley Gainey will finish as well. Multiple laps down in 27th. Then DNFs for Mark Dillon Jr. and Ethan Patterson in 28th and 29th. That is how they're going to wrap up here tonight. And we will go in search of your third place finisher here momentarily. And I went up to search for him, and he beat me to the punch. He came down here. So third place here tonight. I was hoping to talk to Andy Poliski at the end of it, and we do. A P3 finish for driver number 32. Welcome back to the podium, partner.
It's great to be back. It's been a little bit.
It has been a little bit. Iowa, you sounded a bit trepidatious earlier tonight. The caution worked in your favor there, but you take a big swing on strategy there on the final pit stop. Talk me through the thought process.
I was just losing too much time to Brody, so try to do something different. I mean, I really have got nothing to lose at this point. I'm trying to make up points the most I can. So, going for max points day and trying to win. So just try to do something different. Unfortunately, it didn't work out. I think I burned up the tires a little too early, trying to run a little too hard to build up a lead, and it didn't work out for me this time. But we'll try again some other time.
Matt, what do you got here?
Well, you just kind of mentioned the big conundrum there. Trying to the fine line between pushing to make passes or get a gap, but also try to save the tires. Seemed like about 25 laps into the run, you were going to figure out who had it and who didn't. When you figure out you might have burned your tires up, do you try to go into conservation mode or just keep pushing and just kind of see what happens?
No, that first run, I really was able to conserve and made a lot of ground late in the run, and it just kind of the last run, I knew, like you said, about 25 laps it wasn't going to work. So I tried to conserve as much as possible, save as many positions as possible as I could. It gets to the point, if you keep pushing, it just keeps putting heat in the tire, and it just gets worse and worse and worse. So.
Well, you're always a guy that we look for at the road courses. Road America next week. How are we feeling?
I'm feeling pretty good. I really enjoy that track. So I love that track. It's really fun. I've had a lot of laps on that. So hopefully another podium finish, if not top of the podium.
Well, we'll look forward to that. But in the meantime, anybody you want to thank here tonight?
I thank my sponsors, Nissan Wichita Falls. Back on the truck again tonight. Got another podium for them. I think the last time they were on the truck, we got a win. So unfortunately, we couldn't bring it home for them, but still good finish. Decent points day as well. My team, Jeremy and Steve, and unfortunately, Ryan couldn't be here, but they always do a great job week in, week out. We bounce a lot of ideas off each other, kind of push each other. So they're great guys to run with. You guys in the booth every week in, week out. I go back and watch it, and it's excellent work week in and week out. And then this league, as always, these guys are getting better and better and better. It's always hard to make positions back up, and it's great racing all the way through the field.
Always a good night when we can talk to Andy Poliski after the race. Looking forward to doing it again here soon, but a good run in here tonight.
Yes, sir. Thank you, guys.
And before we continue on with the interviews, I just want to point out, I know you're showing replay shots like you normally do. Brantley Gainey finished 22 laps down, and he has been making laps this entire time. So he is still out on the track going in full blast while Bertie Gunter is parked across the start-finish line. So with that in mind, we will talk to a driver that has been having some great runs of late, but some bad luck down the stretch. No such bad luck here tonight for your second-place finisher. Nathan Palawoda is back on the podium. Welcome back to Booth 200. Congrats on the P2.
Thank you. Well, this was really what I was looking for here. Didn't have Ashton on the pit box tonight, but just kind of managed the strategy myself. I didn't know what I was doing, but it ended up working out. Yeah, I had fun. I just came into this like, okay, I need to just chill and have fun this race, because last time that one was a little frustrating, obviously. Again, still fun, but the caution at the end. And with this one, I was like, all right, I'm just gonna have fun, go out there and just have a blast. And I did. It was an amazing race. I loved that it went to night there and stuff. So I didn't know it was actually gonna be a night race first. Yeah, I was talking to Flinky and Oz, and they did great. They had some issues and climbed their way back up there. Just really proud of them. They're my little buddies. Yeah, so it was a really fun one.
Matt, what do you got here?
Yeah, congrats on getting back to the podium here. You mentioned kind of the tough luck last week, but you mentioned just trying to come into tonight, having fun. Seemed like you were maybe a little bit looser out there. How does it change your mindset when you're just coming in here looking to have a good time rather than maybe get as many points as possible?
Well, I think sometimes it can hurt you, sometimes it can help. With a race like this, you really got to manage your temper and just be like, okay, listen, like I had a lot of things happen on track where I could have gotten mad and done something, right? But I just laughed it off, chilled out, just was like, you know what? I'm just going to have fun. It's whatever. Just let them go. That's a big thing with the short tracks, because, man, you can get into some big situations on the short tracks if you just go back and forth with somebody. So I just didn't want to make anybody angry this race and just race clean best I could, but still hard enough to kind of contend, and I think pulled that off.
Well, I'm looking forward to one of the shout-outs. I always am, but let's hear who you got to thank here tonight.
All right, I gotta thank Jared the Skinwalker. Of course, he watches every race, and I didn't even know that at first. I thought like, oh, maybe he watched a few. Dude, he said like, oh yeah, I've been watching every race. I'm like, dude, no way, that's awesome. But and then Patrick, my best friend, Patrick, and then gotta thank Flinky and Oz. They did great this race. I'm really proud of them. Been hanging out with them more. We've been practicing and getting a lot better. It's awesome to see Oz improve, my team owner. So he's fairly new, but he's been really getting things together and learning a lot, and it just makes me really proud.
Absolutely. Great night for Oz, considering how things started. Was hanging around the top 10 pretty much all night after the spin there early. So great job to Oz. Great job to you as well. Hopefully we'll be talking to you again here soon, but go celebrate the P2 tonight.
All right.
And now it is time for the third time this season to talk to your race winner, Brody Gunter, the 01, back to P1 here tonight, this time at Iowa. Congrats on the win.
Yes, thank you guys. It's great to be back.
Well, you made up a lot of spots right off the rip there, hung around the top spots before that pit stop. The caution sort of throws a wrench in things. That caution coming out in the middle of the pit cycle, how does that change the race for you going forward?
I'm assuming you talked to one on lap 60, but yeah, originally I was going to do a one stop. I think me, Corey, and Kyle were planning on doing that, but yeah, that changed very quickly. But I think it kind of worked out because I got the lead out of it, and then from there I kind of just went with the flow, as I like to say, and just somehow held off the whole field. And if you told me I was going to win this race this morning, I would have thought you were crazy. My goal was just like a top 10, top 15.
Oh, and why is that? You had success at USA, not the most similar track to this, but again, it's a short track. It seems to be within your wheelhouse. Why the lower expectations for tonight?
It was only my second time racing here, first time in a truck, and I know I think Venom and a bunch of all the other truck leagues you guys broadcast come here a lot. Yep. So I feel like I was definitely going to be lower here in experience, but yeah, somehow I guess I took to it pretty fast. I think Nathan Reynolds was probably the fastest truck here though, so I think I did get lucky on the pit strategy, but yeah.
Yeah, I'd say you took to it pretty well. Matt, what do you got here for the race winner?
Yeah, congrats on the race win here. This is a track that there are about 4, maybe 5 different lines to run anywhere throughout the run. It makes it got to make it pretty difficult when you got people racing around you to have to play a little bit of defense here, maybe more so than usual.
Yes, so definitely. This track is, I mean, I think every line here is raceable. It's just which one are you fastest in? I mean, I was trying an arcing approach of entering high and exiting low. I know most people were trying to either ride the wall or ride in like the second lane, but it was more fun toward the beginning when I pitted on lap 10 and coming through the whole field and seeing all of it. That was a blast to do.
Well, we've got an eye forward to next week. Obviously, you are one of the top drivers, even in your limited time here in the Venom Truck Series on the road courses. Road America next week. How are we feeling?
It's already next week. Wow.
I think so.
I'm decently confident about it. I mean, I've obviously never done a truck there. I'm sure most people in Venom haven't, but I think it'll be fun. Road America is a fun track. This truck is a fun thing to drive, so I think it'll be pretty entertaining to watch.
Well, who do you want to thank here tonight from the top step?
CGI Graphics, Mullet Music Productions, Work in Progress Racing, and Corey for the strat of pitting on lap 10.
Absolutely. Works out for you, gangbusters, here tonight. Win number 3 on the season. Looking for a 2-peat next week at Road America. Hopefully we'll talk to you again then, but go party hard here.
All right. Thank you, guys.
So that is the 3rd win for Brody Gunter. What a drive for him here tonight. Again, he mentioned the speed of Nathan Reynolds. Reynolds, for one reason or another, was lagging a bit behind there on pace at the end. Could not reel in Andy Poliski to challenge for the podium here tonight. Obviously, that caution did mix things up for Reynolds. Mix things up for quite a few drivers here tonight. But, I mean, a great night here at Iowa, battling all race long, all through the field. A revolving cast of characters through the night. I don't know what more you want other than, for us, I guess, some crash-worthy or some intro-worthy crashes, which we didn't get here tonight, really.
Yeah, I mean, you know, this is one of those races where we almost had to say nothing. I mean, when the drivers give you that much good stuff to watch, you just get to sit back, relax, make a few comments, and let the drivers be the show for you, as they always are here. You know, other than the pit strategy getting thrown completely out the window, that was quite something. That's not too often we see that happen, and now it's happened 2 races in a row. So the drivers maybe hoping to get back to regularly scheduled programming for themselves, but gave us great stuff, good action to watch here tonight. Shout out to everybody watching and chatting here with us. Of course, Ryan Dye. I think Ethan Patterson there as well. Stickers McQueen, Blinky Roberts, they were all in the chat. Thank you guys for chatting, and anybody else that was watching here tonight. We appreciate it.
Absolutely. We mentioned it already, but next week we are at Road America for the longest race title in sports history. The brought, not bought, outside of Wisconsin 195, presented by Quick Trip and the local 200 Teamsters Union. That's not going to fit in the title card for the YouTube stream next week. I'm not going to try and put it in a thumbnail. I said it out loud there. I'll say it out loud at the beginning of the race next week, and that is as good as it's going to get. I'll just put a picture of Wisconsin on the thumbnail for next week. Yeah, so, but very excited to get up to virtual Elkhart Lake next week for the first trip for the Venom Truck Series to Road America. Between now and then, got some great racing action for you. Wednesday night, of course, tomorrow night, the Daredevil Series is at Sonoma. So it is our 2nd time at Sonoma in the Daredevil Series. Be here for that around 8 o'clock Eastern sharp. We will be live in prime time for round number 2 of the Daredevil Series, season number 4. Thursday night, we will not be on the air here on Turn 200, but Matt and I will be filling in for Chris Graham on the National Racing Network for the U.S. Open Wheels C-Class Indy PM18. They are oval racing at Legacy Phoenix, so we'll post the links in our Discord to go over and catch us on NRN this coming Thursday for some great oval racing there at Legacy Phoenix. Really excited about that, and excited that we get to be on NRN, a real big channel. And pretty exciting stuff. So we will not be on air here, but that'll be over on NRN. So kind of cheating an extra plug in there. Sunday, back to the regular Turn 200 action with the Porsche Mission R Challenge. That will be from the boot layout of Watkins Glen. Then Monday night, the Formula Super Series is back, this time at Mobility Resort Motegi for the road course there over in Japan. And then that will lead us back to Road America here on Tuesday night. So be sure that you are here for all of the action that we've got on Turn 200. Scroll down and hit subscribe. Hit like on the stream as well if you haven't already. We greatly appreciate it. 40 subscribers in the last month. So cannot thank you all enough. We're over 550, just as quick as we got to 500. Really exciting times here on Turn 200. We greatly appreciate all of your support. Go follow us on Facebook. The link to our Facebook is in the description as well. Come join our Discord server. Come hang out with us. We're fun people. We're fun to hang out with, I think. I don't know. That's probably not what a fun person would say, though, so I don't know. Anyway, that's all we got for you here. For everybody with the Venom Truck Series, for the GOAT, the one and only Mr. Matt Williamson, I'm Tommy Cook. Until we meet again, we are saying so long from Iowa Speedway, where Brody Gunter wins his third race of the season. This has been a live broadcast on Turn 200. Be sure to hit subscribe and hit the bell to get notified of when we go live next. Thank you very much for joining us, and we'll see you again soon.